All right, Coach Kathy. I think I got everything together. So, I think we are live. I'm just going to check right now. Let's see. I was able to troubleshoot, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always a gamble with computers, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll work it through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I'm waiting for it to officially. Okay, I think it is live right now. Let me just refresh here. You just, there we are. We are live. All right, Coach Kathy, it's all you. We're live on Facebook.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Yeah, you be patient and computers will be your friends eventually.
Exactly. All right, it's all yours. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Kies. Well, hello, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful week since the last time we were together. And I hope that you had a chance to look at the email I sent and pull down um, the the weekly sleep habits checklist. Um, I told you that you could really just start with the top part. Last week was sort of a testing ground. There's no right or wrong answer for this because as we go through life, sometimes things will happen to require a change in our sleep patterns. What we don't want to do is have a sleep pattern interrupted for weeks on end where it can then become a real negative impact. So if you're traveling late or your kids are sick or you're up working on a project, or even on a rainy dreary day you end up sleeping in longer, which then it even though you think, well, it's good to have that extra sleep, and yes it is, but if you do that too much then your body gets used to waking up later and you lose the ability to wake up at your quote normal time. But there are things that can happen both positive and negatively to your sleep habits, and what you want to do is just keep it routine because in the long run your body will regulate to that and will do better with that. But life happens. And so this is not about getting exactly 8 hours and not 8 hours and 1 minute or 7 hours and 59 minutes of sleep a night or whatever your sleep is. And it's, not to exactly go to bed at 10 and wake up at 6 every day. But if kind of within that, you go to bed at quarter of 10 or you go to bed at quarter after 10, and you wake up regular, so you gain or lose 10, 15 minutes in one direction or another. If you can keep some level of consistency and then with outliers, that's the best part. So that's what we were doing last week with the weekly sleep habits checklist to see how much sleep you got each night. I know I posted mine for you, and you can see that I'm not perfect, but it is always a work in progress. And so now that we have that, over the next couple of weeks here in the month of May, we're going to be working to see what we can do with our daily activities, with our daytime routine, with our nighttime routine to help make it easier for us to go do that first line and get a consistent, even amount of sleep every night. So today, as you can see here, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some practical tips for creating a better sleep because quality sleep, as we've talked about, and everybody knows, I think even our moms and dads tell us this, is really essential for your overall health and well-being. So if you implement some good sleep hygiene practices, it can significantly improve your sleep quality and duration of sleep. So some tips that I can offer you, and some of these you've probably heard before. So hopefully, I mean, there will be some new things for you, but hopefully these are things that you have heard before, and I'm bringing them to the forefront of your brain and working them together along with that checklist will really help you out this week. So the first of all is to establish a consistent sleep schedule. You want to aim to go to bed, as I was alluding a minute ago. You want to aim to go to bed and wake up at about the same time every day. So if you say my bedtime's at 10 or my bedtime's at 11, then let's pick 11 o'clock. So you It's okay if you go to bed at quarter of 11. It's okay if you go to bed at quarter after 11, or even, maybe once in a while 11:30. But, within 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, one direction or another, if that happens, that's fine. But you don't want to say my bedtime's at 11 and then you're going to bed at 10, unless you're feeling ill or you're waking up early the next morning for a particular event or to catch a train or a plane or something. But you don't want to be saying my bedtime's at 11 and then one night you're there at 10:30, the next night you're there at 11, the next night you're there at 12, the next night you're there at 10:45. Like, well, what really is your bedtime? Your body's going to get mixed up. So shoot for 11 o'clock within a range. So whatever your bedtime is. And the same with the wake up time, that you want to say, okay, I want, 8 hours sleep. So if I go to bed at 11, I want to wake up at 7, or I get 7 hours sleep. I go to bed at 11 and I wake up at 6. So again, you want to be waking up at about the same time every day. You don't want to say, I want to wake up at 7, and then you decide to set your alarm for 6 today, and you decide to set your alarm for 6:30 the next day, or you decide to leave your alarm off and you end up waking up at 8 or 8:30. You want to kind of keep it pretty close to 7 o'clock. And again, your body gets used to that. And by having your wake up time consistent, that will help you with the consistency of your bedtime, because your body kind of wants to stay up. If you figure 8 hours of sleep, and not everybody gets that or needs that, but if you divide the day like that, if you are looking at 8 hours of sleep in a 24-hour day, that means you have 16 hours of waking time. So if you wake up too early after about 16 hours, your body's going to say, I'm done. Or if you're waking up late at 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then it's 16 hours is going to be way past your 11 o'clock time, and you want to go to bed at 11 and you wonder why you can't get to sleep. It's because you haven't been awake long enough. So you want to have that consistency. And here's the tricky part, even on the weekends or on your days off, because of the fact that your body wants to be awake at different amounts of time. Now, do I like to sleep in? Yes. And do I sleep in? Yes. And I very much recommend that, especially if you've had a lot of really heavy nights. So that's why I'm saying an outlier once in a while is okay. But for every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday, or whatever your days off are, to be doing that to your body, because then it's going to be hard for you to go to sleep that night in order to wake up and start your work day the following day, and wake up on time, during the week. So you want that consistency. So what you can do if you do want to have that is, maybe then that's when, people have an extra cup of coffee and read the newspaper, or read a book, or do some extra stretch time. You don't have to be super active. You can still kind of be in a rest mode, but you can also be awake doing that. Maybe do, if you've got some sewing to do, you've got some buttons to sew on, or you need to hem your jeans, just sit quiet, some quiet music, and you're just hemming your jeans or something. And that can still create that weekend relaxing time without ruining your body sync for going to bed that night. And so, as far as creating a good bedtime, because we want to be able to relax, and depending on what you've been doing during the day, sometimes it is definitely easier to get to bed, is that to get to sleep, anyways, is you want to try and develop a calming pre sleep routine. And that kind of lets your body know that it's time to wind down. So, you could choose activities such as reading a book, taking a warm bath, practicing doing some relaxation exercises, deep breathing, meditation, things like that. Again, you could turn on some good music and just do some quiet sewing or embroidery or crochet. You can, read a nice book. Maybe even, when you start your cleaning your face and doing your evening skincare routine. um, I actually have found that I like to do that earlier rather than later. I used to be a person who, if my bedtime was at 10:30, at 10:20 would be in the bathroom scrubbing my face, putting on my moisturizer and all of that. And I found personally, and this each person does it themselves, but that actually almost wakes me up. The water on my the sensation of the water on my face, the feeling of me scrubbing or using the washcloth to clean off my makeup and things kind of wakes me up. So now I have found I do better. And I don't do this every night, unfortunately. I'm still, this is something that I recently discovered, like within the last 2 months. So I'm still working on this. But if I do my skincare routine about an hour before my bedtime, because then that does kind of, as I said, wake me up a little bit, but then I still have that hour then to calm down. And so my brain can then get ready for going to sleep. So those are some relaxation routines. And on our schedule, our worksheet here, there's different ideas then and places where you can put that in, whether you have created what, and you can either write down what you've done or just put little check marks, but what kind of relaxation you have had. Other good hints that are on the checklist are limiting your screen time for at least an hour before you go to bed, because that light just kind of really activates your brain and then it's hard to wind down from that. And also using either a night mode on your computer or your phone if you're using it, or using those blue light blocking glasses. So those are some good hints for helping with your winding down process. And by knowing that you're going to be turning this off and turning that off and not doing that intense with the computer light kind of thing, that will give you time. We all say, well, I don't have time to read a book, or I don't have time to do my embroidery, or golly, those, I bought that pair of slacks or that skirt and I haven't had time to hem it up. Well, that's a time to do it. Put on some good music and do that, or talk with your family or friends or roommates. Let's all sit and do our sewing together and talk. And yeah, just don't talk about very exciting topics, but just gentle topics, because you do want to calm your brain down. Um, then you also want to optimize your sleep environment. You want to ensure that your bedroom is conducive for sleep. You want to keep it a little bit on the cooler side. And if you get cold, that's what blankets are for. But we tend to sleep better a little bit on the cooler side. You want to keep it as quiet as possible and dark. My husband, we have one window that faces the east, so we get all kinds of sunshine in there. And my husband actually got the thicker poster board, the foam board, and it was a foam board that is black. And but even the white foam board would work, just whatever. And he cut it to be the right size of our window. So especially in the summertime when the sun comes up earlier, we put that in the window and then close the drapes so that the light doesn't come in. And it makes a huge difference in the morning, especially as the sun comes up earlier and earlier. And I don't want to be up at 5 a.m. I want to be up at 7. So that really makes a big difference. So keeping it dark, even to if you've got a clock, turning the clock slightly away from you so the light's not coming in your eyes even while you're sleeping. It's amazing what your body can sense and how you can turn that around. You want to, I mean, this is a big investment, but make sure your mattress is comfortable and you have pillows that support your body's natural alignment. And if you have a mattress that's you can't change it out right now, maybe look into some of those foam mattress covers, just things you can do to make your bed feel comfortable, using the right kind of blankets, finding sheets that are comfortable for you, or blankets. I've been known actually to toss the sheet off and put the blanket on, because of just the way that the different feel of the texture against my body. Some nights just one feels better or the other. And then, as I said, you could use blackout curtains or the foam board, or do the eye masks, but things to create a dark environment. And if you're living in a really noisy place, you might want to consider earplugs or a white noise machine. But then, of course, I I've never done that because, being a mom, I was always nervous that if the kids needed me in the middle of the night, I wouldn't hear them. So I've never done the earplugs thing, but, that's, or turn the radio on softly and then use the radio timer to, where it will stop playing after 45 minutes or something, after you've gone to sleep. We talked about limiting a minute ago, talked about limiting your screen time before you go to bed. You actually want to just, and that includes the TV if you can, unless it's a really good Hallmark movie, then I'll let you watch because they're always fun and they create a happy environment. But the but smartphones, tablets, computers, anything that emits a blue light is going to, and it's not so much the thinking part, but it's the blue light part that can affect like the back end of your eyes or something like that. I'm not sure exactly why, but there are scientific studies that, the blue light just activates your brain waves, and we want to start to calm those down. So that's why if you need the blue light glasses, if you're really working on something, or if you're, I know my phone has a night mode, so the colors are a little different and more gentle on my brain. Be careful what you eat. You want to avoid heavy meals, caffeine, and alcohol too close to bedtime as they can disrupt your sleep. And that's even true because I know alcohol can do two things. One, for some people, it can make you more excited and energized. Other people, it puts to sleep, but then that's a false sleep. And then that will also, you say, well, it makes me drowsy, but that will then affect, when it wears off, it'll affect how you sleep. And it can affect your wake up time. So, alcohol in moderation, obviously, and, maybe with dinner while you're eating, so that your body can absorb it along with the nutrition that you're having. But even heavy meals, if you're going to eat late, and sometimes I'm busy, 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 and come home later, and I'm eating later, then I try to eat a lighter meal, and then maybe that's one night that I'll adjust my bedtime. Like 15 minutes or something, just to give my body time to digest. And caffeine, watch your timing on caffeine. Some people can drink caffeine coffee at dinner, and even chocolate has caffeine in it. So, and teas and sodas. So watch your caffeine. But other people, after 3 o'clock, and other people they can't have anything after around noon because it affects their sleep. So watch how the days that you have caffeine, if you're a caffeine drinker, and I'm not, I don't drink any caffeine or do any caffeine. I've weaned myself off of that years ago. It was hard, but I did it. And but I have, actually, it was kind of hard, not hard. That's a whole nother story. But watch yourself how maybe on a day that you don't have a soda in the afternoon, or you have a ginger ale or a Sprite, a light soda rather than a caffeine soda, or you have a tea, that you drink an herbal tea rather than a caffeinated tea. Watch how you feel, and watch how you feel when you are going to bed, whether or not you feel like you've gone to bed, or gotten to sleep quicker, or if you're still staring at the ceiling, and how you feel when you wake up. And then you find, if again, if you are a coffee drinker, soda drinker, you find what your best time is to cut off on that in order to preserve a good sleep pattern for yourself. And then, interestingly enough, you want to, during the day, but especially if you are a snacker, in the evening hours, and if you've had an early dinner and you want to snack, make sure that they are light snacks and they are easily digestible. If you need to have a pre-bedtime snack, and sometimes that's good. I know when I was pregnant, I did a lot better in the morning if I had some protein right before bed, but I did not eat a huge, heavy meal of chicken or steak or pork or something. I would have some peanut butter or some tofu, or a protein powder drink, so that it would be easily digestible. And then, and again, give myself about an hour to fully digest that before I go to bed. And then I would wake up so much better on that. During the day, you want to stay hydrated all throughout the day because that helps your body feel healthy. And then it's using the bedtime as its natural recovery time. And rather than saying, oh, I'm so exhausted because I'm dehydrated, and it's really working hard during that sleep time. But you obviously want to watch your fluid intake in about an hour or two, or some for some people 3 before they go up to bed, go to bed, because then you don't have to wake up for bathroom trips. And that's just personal on that. But again, watch what happens. When is your personal cutoff time for major liquids? And that's not to say you can't have a sip of water or two, especially if you need to take some medication or things like that, later in the evening. But you do want to watch your liquid intake within the couple of hours right before bedtime. You will be able to sleep through a lot better. During the day, you want to stay active. You want to engage in regular physical activity because being active gives your body a reason to recover. And active can mean doing a full on jazzercise class or a yoga class or going out for a run or a bike ride. But active can be doing just some mild exercises or going to the mall. And, when you're, like when I go to the mall on a Saturday, occasionally, I will, maybe walk around the mall a little bit more, even though I've already picked up what I want to pick up, or I'll walk around before I go to the store that I was looking to go to. And that way, your body feels like, well, I'm using energy, therefore I need to rest and recover from that. But you want to avoid intense exercise close to bedtime. So you don't want to be doing your half-hour jazzercise starting at 9:30 when your bedtime is 10 or 10:30 or 11. You want to do that earlier in the evening. So when I take ballet classes, I will take sometimes during the day or on the weekend, but I will take some ballet classes in the evenings, and they tend to start at about 7 or 7:30, so they are done at about 9. And so, my bedtime tends to want to be around 11. And so that's pretty good. I come home and I take a shower or a bath to clean up, and which is relaxing. And so I have that downtime. But I couldn't leave the ballet class and then come home and be in bed by 9:30. My body's too wound up from that exercise. So you want to watch when you do your evening, if you have any evening exercise time, be it at home or at a dance studio or at a gym. Watch how that relates to your bedtime, because you don't want to be so physically engaged that your body can't wind down. But doing that physical activity throughout the day promotes a better quality of sleep, and it can also help you regulate your sleep and wake cycle, because if you've been active, when your head hits the pillow, you're going to go out a lot easier. Whereas if you've had, and we all do have lazy days, especially I know in the winter time when, it's snowing and we're all kind of stuck inside and you don't tend to do as much. And that's okay. It's okay to have kind of a lazy day. But if you have too many of those in a row, then you are going to not be able to go to sleep as easily. And a big notification on this is, when you get sick, and if you're sick for 2 or 3 days, and of course you're sleeping constantly because your body is in a huge bunch of repair, but then you have that day that you're starting to feel better, or you feel, yes, I'm better. And then you're like, oh, I need to get to sleep that night. And sometimes you can't. I mean, sometimes you do, but sometimes you can't. And that's because you have been inactive for so long. Your body was doing the recovery. It needed it then, but now it's thinking, well, I haven't done anything for 3 or 4 days. I don't need to sleep and recover. And so that's when you can have a hard time getting to sleep. So, when you obviously, being ill is one thing, and I don't, we never want to do that. That's why we're trying to do this whole wellness thing so we don't get sick. But in general, doing physical activity throughout the day will help get you to sleep faster, which will help the sleep and wake cycle. And you can, though, I said you didn't want to do major exercises before bed, but sometimes in the evenings, if you want, you can incorporate some relaxation exercises like yoga or gentle stretching. And you can do this throughout the day. And you can also do this in the evening. Again, not right before bed, but you can do this closer to bedtime where you do some yoga stretches just to whatever tenseness has happened throughout your body during the day by doing yoga or a stretching routine. It it just lets your body know and to unkink and to get unstressed, and then that will help with you get to sleep easier. So again, helping that it promotes a relaxation concept. um, you want to I talked about stress. That was physical stress. You want to also take a look at your mental stress. So you want to see how you are feeling throughout the day, and you can practice some stress reducing techniques such as mindfulness meditation, progressive muscle relaxation, or some visualization exercises. And these are things that you can, look up on the internet. The progressive muscle relaxation is really fun, where you lay there and you tell your body, okay, I'm going to tense and relax my toes, and then I'm going to tense and relax my ankles, and you go all the way up, and you can feel your body tensing and relaxing. And every time you relax, I feel like I'm relaxed even more. And that is really, really good. And that's something that I've even done when I first go into bed is I will do that, and then I'll just take a deep breath and, hopefully be able to fall asleep much more easily. That has seemed to work quite a bit for me. But even visualization exercises on, closing your eyes, and you can hear these tapes. And imagine yourself walking by a stream and listening to the birds and seeing the butterflies and the fish, and hear the ripple of the brook. And, so those kinds of things can relax you. So there's those things are available on the internet that you can. And then, of course, there's that app. What's it called? Calm or something like that. So there are other apps, and I actually don't, subscribe to any one in particular. I do have one or two on here, but I just have the freebie versions. So, those kinds of things, if that's useful to you, again, that's not staring at the computer, at your phone, but you have it on, and then you just put it to the side and you listen to it. And some of these other techniques might be available. It might be easier to do it with an app on your phone. You want to keep a journal and jot down any worries or thoughts that you have before you go to bed, because then it gets them out of your mind. And this is a technique that some people find really, really useful. Now, some people think, well, that by jotting them down, now it's going to be in the forethought of my mind. But you can also tell yourself, okay, I'm worried about how this test is going to go tomorrow, or I'm worried that, my coworker about something with my coworker, or a project at work, or, just whatever you're worried about, or, thoughts that you have. And you can tell yourself, okay, I'm writing them down. They're in my little book. They're all down here. And I am just going to close up the book, and I'm going to put it away. And then tomorrow will be tomorrow. And we can revisit it then when I am awake and I've had a good night's sleep. And so by, having your journal, writing it down, and then mentally closing your journal up is, a way of saying, I am closing this topic, and brain, we're not going to think about it right now. So that will allow you to clear that out of your mind and relax. You know how when you talk with a friend, you've got something on your mind, and you talk with a friend, or your teacher or coach or something, and you're like, okay, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that, or what if this doesn't go right, or da 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 da. And once you say it out loud, you feel better, because you either just because of the act of them listening, or you get some feedback from them. But the by doing, when you're by yourself, that you can just write it down and close it up, and you've told yourself, but you've also told yourself that we're going to talk about this tomorrow and think about this tomorrow. If you ever nap, and naps can be a lot of fun, um, But if you do nap during the day, try and keep it short, like maybe 20 minutes, 30 at the most, because it will, uh, then your body thinks, well, I've started my recovery process. I don't need to sleep tonight. And if you do nap, try and avoid late in the afternoon or evening naps. Maybe take a siesta after lunch if you want to do that, if you have some time, and that can be a little bit invigorating, but don't do it too close to bedtime because then that confuses your body. Well, what's my real bedtime? So we want to limit our naps. Yeah, long naps, late naps just interfere with your nighttime sleep, and your body just gets off kilter with the schedule. So those are the things that we can do to promote a better sleep process for ourselves during the day. And on our sleep habits checklist, it talks about pre-sleep preparation. And I wrote in there relaxing bedtime routine, limiting the screen time, using blue light blockers or blocking glasses or night mode, regular physical activity, incorporating relaxation exercises, optimal sleep environment. I won't read them all, you can read them. And then some of the other practices, limiting your naps, doing a gratitude journal. Or another one I forgot to mention was that just to seek a social connection, writing a friend, calling a friend, texting a friend are all great ways and even writing a letter. You don't get an immediate response, but writing a letter is a great way of having a social connection, and you feel connected with other people, which then helps your body feel satisfied. And so, doing something like that as well. So, Coach Kies, that is my presentation for the night. I was thinking, obviously, for homework, we want to keep with the sleep habits checklist and continue with the amount of sleep per night. You can start from this past Sunday, so from 2 days ago, and get through Friday because I know homework is usually due on Fridays. So do as many of those there as you can, and then see what you can do on the pre-sleep preparation section. That is going to be required for the homework to do that. And then for the daily activities, see what you can do. Pick one or two of your favorites there and start trying to incorporate, if you don't already, try and incorporate. And if you do some of these, then pick one or two new ones. Incorporate some of those into your daily routine. I'm not looking for every box to be checked all across the week. What I'm looking for is I did it, oops, I missed, I did it, because again, we're all works in progress. So then you can post this to the Facebook page and not only put up the picture, but say how you felt about it. And there is actually a box at the bottom for additional notes. And there's also, we can start using that line at the bottom uh, for your overall sleep quality. Rate your sleep quality each night when you wake up the next morning. Was my sleep quality a one through 10? With one being, I was tossing and turning all night and, barely slept a wink, to 10 meant my head hit the pillow and the minute the alarm went off, I jumped out of bed ready for the day. I mean, I just like the perfect night's sleep. So, and everything in between. So rate your sleep quality. And again, we're not looking for tens, although, that might happen. It'd be awesome. We're not looking for tens. We're looking for improvement. So the first couple of nights you're out of five, but then towards the end of the week, you're getting to sixes and sevens. That means something that you're doing in the routines in the upper part of the worksheet, the checklist, is working, and your body is starting to get used to what you are going for here. And it might not happen this week. Again, we've got a couple more weeks left this month. So, print out a new sheet each week. And what we're looking for really is for this to improve over the entire month. So how does that sound, Coach Kies? Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the homework or any thoughts about what I was discussing?
Loved it. And I love the journaling idea as well. It's like a dream journal in a way.
Hmm.
I mean, for me, because it's a really crazy, and I always wonder why this happens. Some dreams I remember, and some dreams I remember right when I wake up, but then 30 minutes later, I forget completely what I dreamed about. And so, like, I think keeping a journal by the bed is a good idea.
Hmm.
And then on top of that, notating how you feel like when you're waking up. Like if you're feeling, a little groggy or whatever, then you can kind of reassess what you did the night before
Exactly.
to, and like, okay, well, I guess whenever I do, if I start to see a pattern here, every time I do this at night, I wake up feeling like this, then I know that, I need to stop doing whatever it is that's making me feel groggy in the
Right.
morning. So I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, definitely. The homework, do as Coach Kathy said, was stick with it. With continuing to document. You have a chance this week to earn 30 minutes because the 15 from last week, and then of course 15 for toward the Zoom training session, for this week as well. Because last week, Coach Kathy, I don't know why I thought I uploaded the video last week, and I did
Uh,
not.
no, you didn't. I noticed that yesterday.
Yeah,
So, oh,
I thought there's been so much going on that I'm like, I thought that it was already taken care of. This is why I need an assistant. Jasmine's on here. She's applied for the job.
oh, fun.
Yeah, no.
Wonderful.
So I'm like, but yeah, it's just like, things like that. So basically this week, the girls will have two chances to get pretty much a total of 30 minutes
Okay,
for the
great.
Zoom training session. But then at the end of the day, just also remember, ladies, that even if you don't get your homework in time by Friday at midnight, which is when it's due, there also is still the monthly reward, homework reward for the beauty that does her homework throughout the month. So just keep that in mind. If you're not able to get it done in time, we don't want you to like not feel like you can do it anymore because you can still do it.
Yes,
So
yes. And actually,
um,
and the homework, I mean, the 15 minutes or 30 minutes, that's the carrot on the stick. But the
yeah,
purpose of the homework is for you to do the homework, even if it's late, you are still going to get the benefit of whatever the homework process is. And in this particular instance, it's the tracking of your time. So how your sleep time and your sleep patterns. And so you are going to get the benefit of improving your sleep by going through this process, and that's the ultimate goal. But who doesn't like
exactly.
carrots on sticks, right?
Exactly. So that, the ultimate goal is for you to be able, like, all this helps you and your well-being,
Right,
at the end
right,
of the day. So the carrot on the stick is to try to help you.
right. Totally, totally. Now I
So,
can't remember if it was Jasmine or if it
amazing.
was one of the other ladies was on last week. And for those of because
Destiny.
what it was, okay. Um,
Destiny.
that was
Hmm.
asking about that she could super remember all kinds of dreams all the time, and was just asking about that. So I asked the internet, and I looked at four because you really don't want to trust your first source. I mean, not that you can't
Yeah.
trust it, but you don't want to take only one source. So I read
Right.
through a number of different sources, and basically the sleep experts or dream experts or whatever, and doctors and things, it sounds like there is no rhyme or reason as to why some people can remember their dreams and others can't. We all do dream and we all remember our dreams, or we think we remember our dreams, or we remember our dreams in the back of our head, but not in the front of our head. So we remember them, but we don't remember that we're remembering them, which is what happens to most of us. And but why some people can so vividly remember them even days, weeks, months later, there's no rhyme or reason. It doesn't have anything to do with whether you're male or female, what age you are, or any, anything like that. There's nothing that they can figure out as to why. Some people are just able to do it. And so if you can, hopefully it's a blessing and not a curse, depending on how what your dreams are about. And if you can't, there are supposedly, and I didn't delve into this, but there are apparently tricks that you can do to help yourself remember some dreams because they are there. And so one thing might be, Coach Kies, is like you were mentioning, is having a dream journal. Now we have the journal, I talked about having the journal so that you could, write down, what was bothering you so you wouldn't worry about it at night and put it away. But you can also, as you said, have a dream journal. And when you wake up, even if it's the faintest little thing, oh, I remember I was at the Washington Monument in DC. That's the only thing you remember. You have a vision of
Yeah.
that, or, then that's something. And then as you do that, maybe your brain will say, oh, she wants me to think about this a little bit more. And you'll wake up remembering the dreams a little bit more. Whether you will get to be a perfect dream rememberer, like, some people are, that remains to be seen. But some of the dream experts say that you can entice yourself to remember dreams a little bit more. So it's our brains and our bodies are so miraculous. It's just one of those mysteries.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I actually try that because I'm like, it always boggles me. I'm like, how am I? And I have been able, it's really weird because I have been able to remember some dreams that I prefer not to remember. And it's
Mhm.
just like, but the ones that I'm just like, oh, that was a really good one. What was it? I just knew, I just have a feeling, or I just know that the feeling was really good, but I don't know what the dream was. So yeah, a journal to help with the dreams, writing down the dreams as well. I think is that was what came to mind when, and initially when you mentioned journal, I was
Mhm.
like, oh, dream journal.
Okay, there we go. There we
So,
go.
but yes, it was definitely a great lesson. Thank you so much for it, and always appreciative for all your help with everything and your knowledge. So, yes, ladies, indeed, homework is due by midnight on Friday, but it also you can do it throughout the month if you just want to get the homework reward for the month as well. So, Coach Kathy, is there anything you have left that you would like to say to the ladies that are watching this now and also on replay?
No, just sweet dreams.
Awesome. So, so thank you so much, Coach Kathy, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
You
Thanks,
do the
Jasmine,
same.
as well for tuning in live on the Zoom as well. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your
Good night.
day.